Today I'm going to be teaching you to-look OLL. OLL stands for orientation of the last layer. So basically what that means is after you've solved the first two layers of the entire cube, you use a couple quick algorithms to solve the top face of the last layer. If you combine to-look OLL with to-look PLL, then you can solve the last layer a lot faster than you could with the beginner's method. So if you use the beginner's method right now, then this is definitely one of the things you should learn next. This video will only be about to-look OLL, but I will be making a to-look PLL video soon, so if you want to learn that also, then make sure to watch for that. So after you've solved the first two layers of your 3x3, then the top layer should be completely scrambled. So the first step is to make a yellow cross on top, which would look like this. So to do this, you just want to pay attention to the yellow edges. So right here you can see that two of the yellow edges are on top, and they're across from each other. So when this happens, it just looks like a line, like this. And remember, we're just paying attention to the edges, so even if the corners are flipped up like this, it's still the line case here. So when you have this line case, there's a really quick algorithm you can use to turn it into a plus. What you want to do is hold the correct edges to either side of you, and do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And now you can see there's a yellow plus. Another case you can have is where there's also two edges that are correctly flipped, but they're right next to each other instead of across from each other. So this kind of looks like a V, so you can just recognize it as that. And what you want to do here is hold one of them in front of you and one of them to the right of you, and do the same algorithm but with wide F moves. So it looks like this: F wide, R, U, R prime, U prime, F wide prime. Another case we can get is where none of the edges are correctly flipped. So in this case, it doesn't matter which way you hold it because none of the edges are correct. But what you want to do is the first algorithm, F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, and then the second algorithm, F wide, R, U, R prime, U prime, F wide prime. And now we have the plus. And the fourth case you could get is when the plus is already solved, so in this case you just get to skip this step. So once you have the plus, there's only one more thing you need to do, which is solve all of the corners. So there's 7 cases you could get for this, and I would recommend writing these down so that you don't forget them while you're trying to learn them. The first one looks like this, where none of the corners are flipped correctly, and 2 of them are pointing to the left, like this. They're pointing the same way. And the 2 on the right are pointing to the back and towards you. I'll do the algorithm for this, but I'm not going to say it because I would mess up. And now all of the corners and the edges are oriented correctly. The second case is when you have the same thing, but the 2 pieces on the left are oriented correctly. So you only have the 2 on the right that are pointing towards you and towards the back. So you hold it like this and do this algorithm. The third case is when you have 2 pieces that aren't solved and they're both pointing the same way, like this. So you hold those pieces on the front and you do this algorithm. The fourth case is when 2 pieces aren't solved and they're diagonal from each other. So you want to hold one in the bottom left corner and one in the top right corner. And the one in the bottom left should be pointing towards you, and the one in the top right should be pointing towards the right. And you do this algorithm. The next case is that all 4 of the corners are unsolved, and it's 2 sets of headlights. So 2 of them are pointing back, and 2 of them are pointing forwards. So you hold 2 of them pointing forwards, and you do this algorithm. The next case is that 3 of the pieces are unsolved, and if you hold this block of 4 up in the top right like this, and this corner below it is pointing towards your right, then you hold it this way and do that algorithm. But if the corner below it is pointing towards you, then you're going to want to do a U2 first, so that that same corner is now pointing back, and do this algorithm. and the only other case is that all 4 of the corners are already solved. So I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you want to learn how to solve the rest of the cube after this, like positioning all of these pieces so that they're in the right spots, then make sure to stay tuned for my video about 2-look PLL. I'll probably upload that next. But that's all for this video. If it was helpful, then please subscribe to my channel and like this video.